Okay, guys. So first of all, welcome to all of you in this MS SQL course. The purpose of creating this SQL course is basically to teach you, to train you about the practical things in SQL Server. So I prepare a list of topics that we will cover basically in this video. I will start from the basic things and then we will move step by step towards the a little advanced concept in SQL Server. So we will study all of these kind of things. We will mark step by step and then we will move gradually towards the new and advanced concept in SQL Server. So as you can see here in the list, I have noted down many things that are very necessary for each and every developer in his career. If you are doing a job like a software engineer, software developer, or you are even a database administrator, then you should be familiar with all these concepts. But I will tell you that if you are a backend developer, that without these things, I think you are not complete, your knowledge is not complete. So I will tell you about all of these things in this course. Okay, so it is the complete list, it is the agenda of today video. Okay, so before starting the course, I will tell you that you should install the SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio on your computer. If you have already installed, then there is no need to reinstall again on your computer. But if you have not installed, just type on Google download SQL Server. Okay. Okay, so you can download the SQL Server from this link, and then you have just to download the SQL Server Management Studio from this link when the installation of the SQL Server completed. If you have still any difficulty, then you can search on the internet, on the YouTube, how to install SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio. I will not show you the steps here because I have already installed these two softwares on my system, so it sometimes creates issues when you reinstall or delete the old file and then reinstall. That is why it's not, I think, a complicated step, so you have to do this step by yourself. Okay, so let's we move toward the topics. Our first topic is to create a database, and then we have to create a table. So let's me open the SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, okay, so here I have to type the password of my local server, right? When you open the SQL Server Management Studio, then you will find lots of things, but the Object Explorer window is of very importance. Okay, so here we have the databases. If you just expand this folder, then here you will find the databases that I have already created, but I will add here a new database. So right click on this new database, just keep the name of database like SQL course DB, right? And then click on OK. You can see here that the database is created successfully. There is also another way to create the database. Just click on new query. Okay, so the first method was to create the database by right click on this folder, and then you have to create, and the second method is to run a query for creating the database. So according to query, you have to write like create database, and you have to type here on the name of the database like SQL course DB old, right? Then select this statement and run. Okay, just refresh this folder. Here you can see that this database is created. So basically there are two ways, right? Now I will delete this one and I will move forward in the course with this database. So let's me delete this one. Okay. Now our second topic from the list is how we can create a table. So just click on this table, select this database, expand, and here we have a folder for the tables. So for creating a new table, you have to right click, then new and table. Let's suppose I want to create a user table. So for the user table, I will create the user ID. I will add the full name and full name, and then here I will add date of birth, right? The user ID column will be of integer type and the full name will be of varchar. It should be 150 characters, and date of birth field should be date. It should be date. Yes, right. Uncheck these one. So these two columns should not be null. Okay. So if I want to make the user ID column as a primary key, then I will right click here, click on set primary key. Now these column will be considered as a primary key for the student. Okay, so right click here, save table, and here I will keep the name of the table as users. Okay, close this window. In the table, just expand this. Here you can see that the users table is created successfully. Again, there is another method to create a table inside the SQL Server. If you want to create the table like from the editor, then you have to type create table, right? And then you have to specify the name of the table. The name of the table like students. And then here you have to specify the columns of the table like student ID. It should be of integer type, and then student name. It should be of varchar 150. The student name should not be greater than 150 characters. So let's me create this table. Just refresh the table folders. Here you can see that the student table is created successfully. So basically we can either create things from the window, or we can create here from the editor. Now let's see what is our next topic. Our next topics are how we can insert record, how we can update record, and how we can delete record, and then how we can select a record from a table. So let's me copy these topics. I will paste here so that I cover these topics step by step. Right. Now our first topic here is how we can insert a record inside a table. Now let's suppose I want to insert a record inside this table. I will write here a query like I will tell you that let's suppose you create a new table or new store procedure inside SQL Server, and if it is not reflecting here in the editor, let's suppose the user table R2 IntelliSense working or not. Insert into, okay, now here you can see that the user's table IntelliSense is not coming. Okay, so for this you have to refresh the local cache. Click on edit, IntelliSense, refresh local cache, right? In this way the whole things will be refreshed and now the IntelliSense will work correctly into users. Okay, you can see now that the table name is coming. So insert into table. Now I will insert here record inside the users table. For inserting a record inside any table in SQL Server, you have to write first here insert into statement in SQL. Okay, it is predefined, right? And after this statement, after these, you have to mention the table name. Here we have mentioned the table name, it is users, and then in the parentheses you have to type here the column name. Okay, so I want to insert record inside user ID and in full name and in date of birth. It is your these are your columns, and now here you have to type the values keyword, right? It is the SQL syntax, and after the values you have to write here data, specify here data for all these three columns 1, 2, 3. So for the user ID I will insert 1, and for the full name I will insert, let's suppose, Basit, and for the date of birth I will use the SQL Server pre-built function. It will give me the date. If I don't want to use the SQL Server, then I can also write here the date manually. Okay, so let's run this statement. Okay, one row affected. It's mean that we have inserted the record successfully inside the users table. Let's see the record. Here you can see that the record is successfully inserted inside the student table, right? Now I will erase this one. Our second topic is how we can update a record inside the table. Now let's suppose I want to update the full name of the user here in this row. How can I do so? There are many methods, but I will tell you the basic here for updating a record inside a table. The update statement in SQL is like in this way. You have to type update and then the table name. The table name will be the users table. Okay, and now you have to type the column name which you want to update. I want the column name, I want to update the full name inside the users table. Okay, so this is the SQL keyword, it is the table name, and it is again the SQL syntax, it is the predefined keyword, and then you have to type here the column name. I want to update the full name. No, I want the full name should be like Basit main. Okay, now which full name, which row I want to update. If I just execute this statement, then all the columns with the full name will be updated. But I want only to update the record with user ID. This. Okay, now I will specify here a condition where user ID is equal to 1. So this statement will only update the full name in user table with user ID is equal to 1. Okay, let's we know that we have currently only one record inside the users table, right? Now let's me change the ID from 1 to 10. Okay, now let's me execute this statement. Here you can see the 0 row affected. This meant that no data is updated in the user table. The reason behind this is that we have no row in the user table with ID 10. Now let's me make the user ID again is equal to 1, and let's me execute this statement. Here you can see that one row affected. It's mean that the record is successfully updated in user table. If I just want to check, you can see here that the full name is updated from Basit to Basit Amin, right? Now it is basically the way to update a record inside the SQL server. If I just insert a new record inside the users table, and if I just execute this statement, then all the full name will be updated, right? Okay. Now how I can delete a record from a table? Again, there are ways to delete a record from a table. For deleting a record, you have to type delete keyword and then the table name, which is users, where user ID is equal to 1. Now here if I just execute this statement, it will delete all the rows from the student table. But I want only to delete the record with user ID is equal to 1. Now this statement will only delete a record inside the user table with user ID is equal to 1. If I make again the user ID is equal to 10, we know that there is no data with this ID. So let's me execute. Okay, 0 rows affected. These mean that no row is deleted from our table. If I just check again, the record is here. But if I execute this statement, then let's me see the result. 1 row affected. Let's me check the record. All the data is erased. Okay, with user ID 1. So we can delete any data from the table like in this way. It is the keyword, it is the table name, it is again the where condition. So it is the predefined keyword, and then you have to type here the condition. Now how we can get the data, I mean select the data from a given table. Let's me remove these two. Okay, for getting the record from a table in SQL Server, there is the select statement. So you have to type select, and then you have to type historic. Historic means to get all the data. I mean all the columns from the table. So let's suppose you have 10 columns in a table, then the 10 column will be selected. If you have 100 columns in a table, that 100 columns will be selected. Now here I will type here the from keyword and then the table name, right? Now this statement will get all the records from the users table. Let's me execute. Okay, there is no data. Let's me insert some record inside this table so we can check see the result of this statement. To show you how we can insert a record inside a table a few minutes ago, but I will tell you again here another method how we can insert a record. Let me show you again. Right click, edit. Now here you can directly insert the data also inside your table. My full name should be Noor, and date of birth, let's suppose, check this, and then enter. Now here this row is inserted inside your table. Close this window. Now let's suppose let's run this statement, execute. Okay, you can see here the data. Here we have only one record inside the table. Let's me add another record. its user ID should be 2, its username should be Elena, and the date of birth should be 05, let's suppose 26, right? Close, and let's me execute this statement again. Guys, I will tell you that you can either execute your statement here by clicking the execute button, or you can press F5 button from your keyboard for executing any SQL statement. So I will click on execute. Here you can see that I have 2 records inside the user's table. So basically we can get data in this way. Now let's suppose I don't want to select all the columns. I only need user ID and full name according to my requirement. Then I will specify here user ID, comma, full name instead of the historic symbol, right? So let's me execute this statement. Here you can see there's a 2 column, the user ID and full name is selected, and no, here we have no data for the date of birth because here we specified only the 2 columns, right? So if I also want to get the date of birth, then I will write here in this way. And here at this point I will suggest you to always use the best practices in SQL Server in coding. In SQL, if you have required only this column or these 2 column, then please don't include this column because it will waste your extra resources. So only get those data that you have required. If I just have a need of user ID, then why should I get the full name and date of birth? There is no need. I will just write the query in my code like in this way because I have need user ID and only in this case, right? So only get the data that you have required. Now let's we check the next thing what we have to cover. Okay, so up to this point the things are covered. Let's me highlight, right? Yes. Now here I will select these, copy and paste here in my window so that I don't go back again to the Word file. Okay. Right. Now we have to come to this statement. What are the and or operator in SQL, right? So basically these and or operator we are using in the where condition in SQL. Let's me get all the data from the users table. Okay, here we have only 2 rows. Now if I want to get the data only with user ID 2, right, then I will specify here a condition where user ID is equal to 2, right? Let's me execute. Right, we have only one record with user ID 2. And now let's suppose I want a condition also on the full name, that the user ID should be 2 and full name should only be Elena. Then I will write here the SQL AND operator, right? This one where full name is equal to Elena. Execute this statement. Here again I have the same result, but if I just change a character here in the name, you can see that there is no data because this condition is met, but this condition is not met according to the statement, right? So we are using the AND operator to give multiple condition in the where class of SQL. And let's suppose I also want the condition or the date of birth. Then I will write in like in this way. Date of birth should be, if we remember, I give the date of birth like 2022 May and 26, right? Okay, again we have the same record, but if I just change the month to 4, then let's see, we have no data. So basically we are using the AND operator for multiple condition inside the SQL query. Okay, now let's move to the OR operator. If you are a student from the computer science background, then I think you will have to study, or you have already studied, the AND gate and OR gate, XOR gate in your digital and logic course. Then you will also be familiar what kind of operations performed by these kind of logical gates, right? Now here, by the OR keyword, add is specified to get the data either on one condition or on another. So we are using like in the same way in SQL. Let's me replace here the AND with OR, right? These statement mean these SQL statement mean to get all the records, all the columns from the users, where user ID is equal to 2 or full name is equal to Alina. These mean if this condition meet, it will get the data, or if this condition meet, it will get the data. If no condition meet, then it will get no data. Let's me execute. Okay, so the first condition meet, also the second condition meet, so it give me the data. Let's me change the name to this one, right? It's again give us the data, because now this condition is met. We can see that this condition is not according to the data in our table, but these the user ID is equal to 2. That is why we have get one row in our data grid. Now let's me also change these to 2 and execute the query. Here we can see that no data is coming in the result. The reason behind this is that this condition is not meet according to the data, and also this one, right? So we are using basically the OR operator to check whether these condition meet, where this condition mean or date of birth, like this. Sorry guys. Let's execute the statement. So here we have 2 records. This record meets according to the user ID 2, okay, and this meets according to the full name, but the date of birth for the date of birth 2022 May and 26, we have basically two rows. That is why we are seeing here 2 rows inside the results. So we are using AND OR operator according to the scenario, according to the case in SQL statement. I think it's enough about the AND and OR. It's not too complicated. Now let's move towards the distinct operator in SQL, right? For this, let's me add another row inside the table. So the user ID should be 2. The username should be again Noor, and date of birth should be like this one, right? Let's me add another row, 4, and the username, the full name should be Elena, and this one, right? Now first let's me check the record inside the table. Select historic from users, right? I will tell you about the U that is coming upcoming time. Okay, so here we have basically 4 rows, right? Now these two are same, and these two are and these two names are also same. Now if there is a condition to get only the distinct full name column, I don't want the duplicate data like Noor is coming twice and Alina is coming twice. Then how will I do this in SQL? For these, there is an distinct operator. So let me first get the full name, right, and copy, paste here. I will type here no distinct. Okay, select, execute. You can see here that it removes the distinct, the duplicate data. If I execute these two statements at the same time, you can see here that for this statement we get the data without any duplication, and for the first statement we get also the duplicate record, right? If I add the user ID column in both the queries, user ID, and I will also add here in the second query. Let me execute both these query at the same time. You can see here that for the first statement we have 4 rows, and also for the second statement here we again 4 rows. The reason behind these is that these 2 rows are duplicate, but here their IDs are different, and same is the case for Elena. You can see here that this name is a duplicate, but their IDs are different, so it will not only get 2 rows, but it will get the complete data. That is why for the distinct statement all the columns data should be same. If there is any change in one row, then it will not get the data according to your need, right? Now here we have the SQL order by operator, right? Let's remove this one. Okay, the order by operator simply order the data either in ascending order or in descending order. Now if I want to get the data here in the table to sort in ascending order by user ID, then I will write the statement like in this way: select historic from users order by order by user ID ascending, right? It is the SQL operator, and it is also the keyword. This is the keyword, and U is familiar from this statement. No, this statement will order the data in an ascending order by user ID, right? Let me execute. Okay, we can see that the smallest value of the user ID is at the top and 4 is at the bottom. Now let me change the ascending to descending, right? Here you can see that the highest value of the user ID is at the top, because the data is sorted in the descending way by user ID. I can also apply this operator to the full name or to any column of the table. Let me type here to the full name, right? And it should be ascending. Sorry guys. No, here the data is sorted according to the full name in an ascending way. Elena, and no. We know that A comes first in our alphabetical order, and N comes after the A. That is why the data is coming like in this way. Okay. No, or these operator topic is covered. Order by simply order the data in an ascending or in descending way. Okay. Now what the SQL group operator, the group by operator uh, do. Basically, we see here a few minutes ago that what are the work of the distinct operator. We saw that distinct operator remove the duplicate data if all the column have the same value. But the group by operator has a little different purpose. There are many ways to use the group by operator. Here I will show you at this stage the simple one. Basically, group by operator group the data according to the rows that have their values. No, I will. Let me apply the group by operator on the users table. Group by user ID, right? This statement mean to get all the rows, all the columns from the users table, and then group the data by user ID. So if we have two user ID with the same value, then it will get only the one record. But for these again, there should be the full name same and date of birth should be same. Here it throws an error. Column users dot full name is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or group by class. This statement means that we are getting all the columns from the table, but we include only one column inside the group by. So I have also to include the full name, right? Let's execute again. It's again throw the error for the date of birth this time. It means that I have also to include the date of birth field. But here we can see that we have the same. We have all the four rows. Then what is the need of group by? Again, let's me only select the full name and date of birth from the users table. Then let's me execute this statement. Again, there is no change, only the user ID column is removed. But if I remove the user ID no from the group by, then see the result. Here we have only two rows in this case. It means that it's grouped the data by full name. So for the Elena, there are two values. That is why it get only one. And the date of birth is also same. So it grouped the data like in this way, right? Here we have the where operator. I think we have already covered this, the where operator in SQL, but I will explain here once again. The where operator basically used in SQL for conditional conditions specification to get the data on the basis of any condition. We are using the where operator. So let's me first get the data. Okay, now let's suppose I want to get the data only with the full name is equal to null. Then I will use the where operator. This one, where full name is equal to null, right? Let's me execute. Only we have two rows with the user with the full name null. So basically we are using where clause keyword, or you can say the SQL prescribed word for the condition specification, right? So here I have used where clause to, for the full name is equal to null to get only the data that have full name is equal to null, right? Remove this one, right? Now here we have Sql Contemplator. Let's suppose you have 1000 record inside the table. but you don't know exactly about that there are 1,000 record or 2,000 record or million records. And let's suppose your manager or your tech lead tell you to get me the data or to show me the data of the products that have the total count. I mean, uh, show the total products or show me the total orders up to this date. Then how will you count? There's, I mean, an way in SQL to get this data. For this, we are using the Sql Contemplator. This operator will give us the total record inside a table, right? So you have to write like in this way. Select count from users table, right? And here you have to specify like historic, right? Count me all the data from the user table. Here we have total 4 records inside the users table. If I specify here user ID instead of the historic, it will again give me 4. If I specified here full name, we have 4 records. So basically we are using the count operator for getting the total record inside the table, right? Okay guys, now let's we mark these topics that we have covered, and now I will select from these to the SQL Average Operator, copy, and let's we move towards the SQL window so that we don't go back again and again for getting the data. Just comment this, right? Now SQL Average Operator, what does it do? Okay, we are using the SQL Average Operator for getting the average of a column. Let's suppose let's first get the data from the users table. Select historic from users, right? Now if I want to get the average of this column, then I will write here the average operator of the SQL AVG, and inside this so it is basically the pre-built function, and inside the parameter I have to give the column name, right? Execute. So the average of the user ID column is 2. So basically the average function simply give us the average of any column. We can also get the average like in this way. Select 5 plus 5, then what will be the 5 plus 6, right? Okay, then what will be the average? 11. If I just remove all these, its average is 6. Let me do this. Its average is 13, right? So average function basically give us the average of any values. What the SQL maximum and minimum operator does, or next statement is this, right? So maximum operator give us the maximum value of a column, and minimum operator give us the minimum value of a column from a table. Select historic from users. Okay, now if I want to get the minimum value from this column, then I will use the SQL minimum operator, right? I will give here the column name. The column name is here user ID. So I will get here the minimum value from this column. We can see here that the minimum value is 1. Now if I want to get the maximum value of the user ID inside this table, then I can see that the maximum value is 4, right? It's very simple. Just remove these two. Right, now here we have the SQL Replace Operator, function. First get all the data from the table. Now if I want to replace the full name Noor with something else with a user ID 1, then how I will replace? I can either update the full value of the Noor, or I can also replace the data. But here we are using basically the replace operator inside the select statement mostly. We don't use we are very rarely use these statement inside the update inside the update statement. If there is a condition, if there is any value of O inside the full name of a user, then replace the O with a single O. Then I will use the SQL replace operator. The replace operator just replace characters from the string with some new value. Now I will write here the replace, and here the replace operator, as you can see, 3 parameters: string expression, string pattern, and string replacement when varchar. Now I will give here the expression. It is the full name, right? And the pattern should be O, and it should be replaced with single O, right? Now if I found any row with O inside the full name, then I will replace the O with O, and I am checking in the full name column, right? Let's execute. Here you can see that it replaced the O inside the node. If I do the practice for the E in Elena, let me do this. Okay, now here Alina become Eluna. Oh, sorry guys, I should undo this option. No, it's the O in the Noor replaced with a single O. So replace operator just take 3 operators, the 3 params. The first param is the column name in the users table. The second param is the value that you want to replace, and it is the new value that we that will get in place of these, right? And SQL round operator, let's see the SQL round operator. Okay, so here we have these 4 columns. Let me guys insert some new data, because I think it's enough to play with this kind of data. I will just remove these, and let me insert some new data inside the users table, or I should either create some table with some data inside the table. categories, right? But inside the category, I have not enough data. I think let's we also see inside this if there is any data. I think there is no data, right? Okay, guys, no issue. Basically, we can play with the same data. Inside the currencies, let me see what column. There are only few rows, so it will not work correctly. Okay, so inside this table there's lots of data, right? So let's me I will just create this table inside my new database, right? So go to my new database, right click, new query. Okay, so I will create a new table. Don't worry about this thing, I am just copying and pasting, right? Okay, and now I will also copy the data from this table inside my new table, right? Select all. Okay, insert, copy data is no, select all. Okay, close this window, go to the SQL course DB, new query. I am just trying to insert some data inside this DB so that we have some good practice of learning. Countries, right? Select all, execute. Just give me 2 minutes so that I insert some dummy data. Now let's me run this statement again. Okay, we have created a fresh table with some fresh data, right? Okay, so let's me see the data from the table, from our new table. I just created a new table with the name countries inside the SQL Server DB because there was not enough data in the users table. Okay, now we have 251 rows inside the countries table. Now guys, I was telling you about the round operator in SQL Server. Now let's suppose I want here we have these country ID column, and let's suppose I want to apply the round operator, right? And I will write here the country ID. Okay, the round function requires 2 or 3 arguments. Okay, let's see numerical expression, and here length should be, let's suppose, 2. Okay, now it give me the value 189 at the top, and the other values like in this way. So round operator, basically, if I just go to the Google, because I am, to be honest, a little confused. SQL round operator, what does? Round operator rounds a number to a specified number of a decimal places. Okay, right. So select historic. If I have any value that have, okay, so let me update the display sequence number with some value. Update countries, right? Set display sequence number is equal to 999.23. Okay, execute. Now I will select the data, select historic from countries. Here we have 999.23 in each column. Now I will get the apply the round operator on the display sequence number, and I will round it up to 1 decimal places, right? Here you can see that I only get the first decimal value, which is 2. If I apply here 1, 2, I will get the second value. You know that here we have 999.22. Okay, so then you can see here that we get the 2 values. If I just place here 0, let's see that we get no data after the decimal. So round operator is using to round the data after the decimal places, right, in SQL. What does the SQL string split operator does? Basically, it split the string on the basis of a special character. Let's suppose I have a string with student name comma separated, like in this way. Let's suppose we have a list of student. It is the first student, it is the second student, and it is the third student. Now SQL split operator, let's suppose we apply the supply these data to the SQL string operator, and we want to split this data, I mean this string, on the basis of comma. Then SQL string operator will give us 3 rows. Now for these I will show you the SQL string split operator. Yes, just comment this one. Okay, string split. I think it is like in this way. String yes, this one, right. Now I will supply this string here as a parameter to this function. Okay, no, it is the first parameter, and no, I will apply here the second parameter, and the second parameter will be the separator inside the string, right? Now I have supplied the first parameter. Basically there are three names comma separated. Now in the second parameter I have to supply the separator on the basis I want to split this data. So let's me execute. Okay, we can see that this string split operator split this data on the basis of comma, and now here we have three different set of rows. If I just place here plus, you can see that there is no plus, so it will not split the data on this operator. Only we get one row. I will supply here again the comma, because there are first it will execute like in this way. It will get the node, and then it will find the comma, then it will jump to the next row, it will again find a comma, and it will go to the next to the next row. Okay, now I am going towards the sum operator in SQL. It is very simple to get out the sum from the data. So let's suppose select sum. If I want to get the sum of two values plus 5, then I will get 10. So sum operator basically tell us about the sum of the values. If I supply here another value, then its sum will be 22, right? And we can apply these operator on the column of a table like in this way. Countries. If I want to apply the sum operator on this display sequence number, then I will do like in this way. Just remove this one and this, and let's me apply here the sum operator. Here I can see that the sum of the display sequence number is equal to this value, right? Now in SQL we have the like clause. Basically in the where condition in SQL, I tell you about the different things, like how we can use the AND operator, how we can use the OR operator, but we have also the like operator. We are using the like operator, clause in SQL to get the data from according to a part of a string. Let's suppose you type a keyword on the Google search, like SQL course. Now in the Google search engine there will be lots of things like let me show you SQL courses, SQL courses new. I suppose these data available in the Google search engine. 2022 best SQL courses, and here let's suppose one final row, best new SQL courses for students. Let's suppose Google have this data, and you type in the search bar like these data exist in the Google search engine, and let's suppose you type here in the search bar like SQL courses. Now when this string goes to the search engine, it will pick this course, it will pick this and this course. Why? It will search in the start of the course title like in this way. It will also search in the end of the course title. It may search in the middle of the course. So to get this kind of data, basically like in the e-commerce shop or in any such type of functionality, people are using the like operator. Now let's me first get some data from the countries table to apply it the SQL like operators, like historic from countries. Right. Now if I just want to get a country that have AF in the start of the country name, like in this name you can see it is Afghanistan, here we have India, here we have United States, and here we have Pakistan. Now if I want to get a country that have only AN, here you can see at the end, here we have AN, here we have nu N, in the India we have nu N, and again in Afghanistan we have AN at this position, here we have AN at this position, again here AN at this position. Now if I want to get all the countries that have AN inside the country name, I will use the like operator. So you have to type where country name like operator and then single comma, and inside the single comma I will write the percentage sign, sorry guys, in this place percentage, and inside the percentage I will type AN. Now I want to get the countries that have only AN inside the start of the country name, or in the end, or in the middle. Okay, so basically I have get 86 rows. There are total 251 rows inside the country table, but I get 86. Now let's suppose I want to get all the countries that have AN only in the start of the country name. I will remove this operator. Let's me apply. There are only 5 countries that have AN at the start. Now let's suppose I want to get all the countries that have AN at the end. I will remove this one. There are again 17 countries like Iran, here you can see Maine, Japan, Jordan. These countries have AN at the end of the country name. So we are using like operator like for this kind of functionality. Okay, and now let me erase this, and now I will go towards the alias in SQL. It is very simple. Let's suppose I am getting some data, the country name, select historic from countries. I want to get only the country name from the countries table, right? Now let's suppose I am passing this data towards my Python web application, towards my ASP.NET application, or towards my Java or PHP application. Then inside the application, let's suppose I am representing the country name with country. So how will I make alias of this column? I mean alternative. So I will write like as country. Now you can see that the actual column name is country inside the table, but I will make the grid column name as country in the select statement. Let's me execute. Now the grid column name will be country, not country name. Here you can see that the column name is no country, because I have make an alias for this one. And let's suppose I also want in the SQL query to represent the countries with not this lengthy name again and again, I want to represent the countries like as only CTR, right? Then I will use CTR here now with country name dot CTR. Again, the result is same. So basically, we are using alias only for changing any column name according to our requirement, or for or for short keywords, for lengthy table name or column name. Because these are little lengthy, that is why I will use CTR. And next time, if I have multiple joins with this table country with other tables, then I will only use CTR, not the country table. It's for our simplicity purpose, right? Okay, so we have covered up to this point. Let's we move towards our Word file. We have covered this, right? Make it highlighted, and let's we move a little to the bottom. Lots of things guys remaining, so you have to go up to this statement, right? Now I will copy here from this statement to the towards this, right? Copy and paste here inside the SQL. Just comment because it will throw an error, right? Now SQL between operator give us we are using the SQL between operator inside the where condition in SQL to get the data between a range. If you, let's suppose you have a record from the 1st January of this year, and no, you have a record up to May. Now let's suppose you want only to get the record between data recorded between May and April, then you can use the SQL between operator. If I just show you all the data inside the countries table, select story from countries, and now let's suppose I want to get only records between a specific date. Unfortunately, here is inserted all the records at the same time, but these two records have different dates, right? Now here I will write a condition like where created on between, I am telling about the between operator, between, let me put here the first value and then and keyword and then the second value. So I will get all the countries where the created on, I mean this column value between these one. Let me only put the date value, and then I will copy this one. Okay, so I will get all the rows that have the created on date between these two values. Let's me execute. Okay, so we have only two records. Let's me extend the date up to 11. We have too many rows inside this range, and let's me select here 05. If there are any record between these two dates, then give me in the result. There is no single row inside this. So we are using basically the between operator to get a range, to get records on the basis of a range between two values, right? The greater than or is equal to, and the second operator is less than or equal to. in SQL. Now get all this data erased. Okay. Now if I want to get all the data that have country ID greater than 10, then I will use the SQL these operator, the greater or equal to, where country ID is greater than 10. Let me get. Okay. Now we have get all the countries that have country ID greater than 11. But if I want to get all the countries that have country ID greater than or equal to 10, then let's see. Okay, now here we have get the data according to this condition, right? And now let's suppose I want to get all the countries that have country ID less than or equal to 10. Then let's see what happens. Here we have get all the data that country ID is equal to less than or equal to 10. So here in the country column, country ID column, you can see that we have the data that have country ID 10 or less than this value, right? So basically these two operators are again for the comparison purpose. Now here we have the SQL Cache Statement. Again we are using the SQL Cache Statement for the condition. Yes, here we have a column country code. The country code of a country may be different. You can see that here we have country code for some countries, but there are also null values for some countries. Now if I want to get the country name, the country ID, the country name and country code in the select list, but I have to show a default value for all the countries that have country code is equal to null. Let's suppose I want to show default value if there is no code exists for the country code, right? Then I will let me first select the three columns. Country ID, I want to select country name, and then I want to select country code, right, from the countries table. Execute. Okay. Now here for some countries there is country code, but for some countries there is no country code exists. For these, let me introduce the SQL Cache Statement. Okay, just remove this one. So I will write like cache. I will apply here the type here the column name. So the column name is country code, right? Case when country code is equal to when country code is null, then show other country. Incorrect syntax near is, and when country code is not null, then make here country code else. But I think here these statement not giving the correct statement. Let me type here the, okay, sorry guys, I will provide here the SQL case when country code is equal to is null, then type this, else country code. I will explain now. Case when, and let me close this statement inside the parenthesis. I will make an alias here for this whole statement, right? Incorrect syntax near country code is null, then other country, when country code is not null, then country code, else country code. Let's me execute the statement. Why I am getting this error? Remove this one. Let's me execute. Again, I am getting an error. Here I getting the error. Let's me remove this one also. Sorry guys, I think I should put here and as country code. Let me type. Okay, no, all errors gone. Let me see. Okay guys, so here you can see the result. Finally we have correct our statement. So let's me I think each and every is correct. So basically we are talking about the SQL case statement. We are using the case statement according to our conditions. As I explained that, let's suppose we have country code is equal to null, then I will just provide here the value other country in this column. Otherwise, if country code is not null, then I will get the country code. Else, if no condition met, again I will get the country code, the default value, and I will make the column name as country code. Let's suppose I just change country code 1. Now the column name will be country code 1. Yes, no, it's country code 1, right? Now let's move towards the next step. It is the SQL drop table operator. This operator, the drop operator, will basically delete a table from the SQL database, right? Let me remove all this code, and if I want to delete the student table, then I will show you here the drop statement. So just type drop and then table, and here you have to provide the table name. The table name is students. So if I run this statement, it will delete the student table from the SQL course database. Let me try. It's just an alert, a confirm box, execute. Okay, so let's me refresh. Here we can see that the student table is no further exist. So drop table is basically using for deleting a table from the database, right? Just remove this one. And now we have to talk a little about the SQL primary key. When we create a table, we often associate a primary key with a table, and the primary key is specified on a certain column. It is for to specify a row of a table uniquely, right? So let's me open this table inside the design. Here you can see that we have created this table like in this way, and we specified a primary key on this on the user ID column. If I just remove this one, here you can see that I removed the primary key from primary key property from the user ID, and let's suppose I want the primary should be on the full name. Okay, so I will do like in this way. If I control S, then the data will be saved accordingly, but I will not. I will remove the primary key from this one and I will apply it to this one, right? Now this column, the user ID inside the users table, working as a primary key column. So these column values will be uniquely, there will be no same or duplicate data inside the user ID column, right? If I want that when I insert a new row inside the users table, then the data inside the user ID come automatically, not explicitly by the user. Then I will just select this column, the primary key column, and here is a property identification. Now I will check this option. Now here, whenever a new row is coming inside the table, there the value of the user ID will be automatically incremented by 1. So let's suppose there is the latest record with user ID is equal to 10, and if new row is inserting inside the table, then the new row user ID will be 11. It will become 11 from 10. I mean from 10 to 11, because we set the entity specification is equal to 1. Okay. Now we have also a concept of foreign key. Basically, SQL foreign key relationship is the relationship from one table to another on the basis of a column. We have to use the SQL foreign key. For this purpose, I just want to create two tables. Like let me create first table very quickly. Yes, I will create a product table. Yes, product ID, product name, and user ID, right? Let's make this table as integer. Sorry, this column as integer, and it should be n varchar maximum. The product name it should not be maximum, it should be I think 500 character, and the user table, let's make it integer, right? Now I will keep this column as primary key, and it should be auto incremented by 1, right? And this will be the product name, and this user ID column inside the products table I want to join with the user to join from the users table on the basis of user ID. I will join this column with the user ID in the products table. So basically the user ID here in the users table is acting as a primary key, and here in the product table it will work like a foreign key. So from the product to users table there is a primary key relationship with a foreign key in the second table in the products table. So let me save this table as products, right? but I did not define any primary key on the user table. I just demonstrate that this primary key column in the user table will be working as a foreign key in the products table. But how we can assign these relationship between the two tables? So let's go to the Google, just type here SQL how to add foreign key. Okay, now here I have just to copy this statement. Okay, the table is created successfully. Just refresh the local cache. Now here is a way to add a foreign key. I want the foreign key to be in the products table. That is why I will alter the product table and I will add a foreign key. The foreign key column name is user ID, right? And it will be referenced from the users table. So I will type here the users table, and the column name is same in both table. It is user ID in user table, and it is user ID in products table. We can keep the name different in the foreign key table, right? If I just execute this statement, sorry, and now let's me refresh the tables folder, and here go to the products, expand. Here you can see that we have a foreign key FK associated with user ID, and this relation should be with the user ID with the users table. Okay, there is no correlation. If I just show you here you can see that we have a foreign key relationship in the products table, and this relationship is with the users table on the basis of user ID column, right? Okay guys, now we have covered also the SQL foreign key concept. As you remember that in this course our main focus is only to do the practical things. Now here it is our practical environment or practical field. There will be very less, 0% knowledge related to the theory, right? SQL primary key auto incremented. I think I have already told you about how we can make the primary key as auto incremented. If I just go again to the table, and I tell you that if you want the primary key column to be auto incremented, they just select the column, make it as primary key. It is already a primary key column, and go here, expand this one, and just sets its identity as equal to yes. Now this column, the product ID column, will be auto incremented. Let me save. Yes. So this statement is also covered. Let me go towards the topic and make this topic highlighted. Okay guys, so we have covered lots of things. I think we reach at the middle. Now we have to cover the SQL data handling, get date, convert, and SQL get year from date, get month, and date difference. Right, just copy this thing. Okay, and go to the practical field. I will comment all this one. No, basically for the date there are lots of function in SQL. We can go to each and every function to describe here, but it will make the way too very lengthy. That is why we will touch some basic functions for handling the date. Let's suppose I want to get the date, the current date and time. Then in SQL, there is the get date function. Select historic from, just type get date. It will give us the get date. You can see here that this function returns us the get date value. The current date and time value. Sorry guys. Okay. Now here we have again another function. If I just copy the function, select, yes. Now here we have the convert functionality. So this functionality we can convert the date from one format to another. Here we have a date. At the first we have the year, and then the month, and then the date, and here we have the time value. Now if I want to show the year like in a digit, and then I want to show you May instead of here month in a number, then how will I do so? I will use the SQL date converter function. So let me copy this date. I will paste here. So this convert function takes 3 arguments. The first one is the voucher, the second one is the value which wants to convert, and here it takes different parameter. Let's see. It converts the date to the exact format that it is in. Let me put here 102. It converts the date to 100. Let's suppose there is no change. No change. I think there are lots of format for this. Let me check. SQL convert function date time. No, SQL egg. There are lots of output of this function. If I just show you some command like, yes, like this one, to give us this value, and if we supply 3, it gives us this value. But we are doing like in the same way, but we are facing any issue. Yes, if I just pause here 2, there is no change. Okay, let me get the current time, the time and date, and let's run the query. Okay, no, it's sorry guys. So basically it converts the current date and time up to this format. If I just apply here 105, it changes to another format. If I just apply here 100, it apply another format. So basically you can change the values in the third parameter to get different formats of the date. You can search for further on the Google about different formats. So sometimes your client needs to use these formats, sometimes the client need to use like bring the year in the first, and then month, and then date. So there are lots of scenarios. SQL provides different lots of things about converting date from one format to another. SQL get year from date. Okay. Now let me first check what kind of output of this statement. It gives me the current date and time. Now let's suppose I only want to get the year from this value. Then SQL Server provide me the year function. I will just enclose pass the get date as a parameter to the year function. It will give me the year. Currently we have in 2022. You can see here the value. If I want to get the month from this value, I will supply here the month. It is May, that is why it gives me the month. So select get year from date, select SQL get month from date. SQL date difference. Basically, that difference function give us difference. I mean, a value between two dates. Let's suppose you want to get the difference between 2015 and 2020, and if you supply these two values to the SQL date difference function, then it will show you the difference. Basically, how many years there are between these two dates, how many months, and any other value, right? So basically, month give us the current month from the current date, and if you supply here year, it will give us the current year from the date. Let me put here a simple value like in this way. It will give me May, right? Okay. Now let me also try the SQL date difference function. In the first value, let me pass here 2017, and here I will pass 2025, right? Execute this statement. Basically, there are 5-year difference between these two dates. If I make this date is equal to 2010 and execute, it gives me the date difference of 12 months. But no, if we have 12 years, then how many months will be there in the 12 years? 12 to 12 is, it will be, let's suppose, select 12, sorry, 12, it will be total 144 months. Now from this statement, if I want to get the value not in year but in month, then I will replace this parameter with a month. Execute, so it provide me 141. If I just check, cross check, 142. Sorry guys, but there okay, this is not the exact thing. There's also some month difference. It is 2020 and 8 month, and here we have the 5th month. If I also select here the same 525 and 525, let's see, its value is 144 now, right? Now let's me go to the sheet again, and now here we have with these remaining topics, the SQL joins, SQL top operator. Now first let's me copy all the SQL join, paste here, comment. Okay guys, so basically SQL joins are we are using for to join different tables according to different conditions. I will first tell you about the left join. Okay, so we have, let's me insert some data first inside the products table. The product ID, the product name should be product 1 and user ID should be 1. Let's suppose the product 2, its user ID should be 1, its user should be 2, and let's suppose we have product soap, and let's me add one another mobile, and it led to user 2 also. Okay, first let me show the data from the products table. right? Now we are familiar that we have the user ID column here in the products table, and this column is associated with the users table. Now if I want to make a join from this between these two tables from the products with the users, then I can either use the SQL left join or right join on inner join. Okay, now let's me make a left join. Basically the left join show us to get all the data from the left side table, and in the right side table to get only the matching records. For example, I want to get all the products and then only the the user name in the user table if the user ID value is matched in both the tables. So I will make the left join users, okay, on products dot right. Let's me execute this statement. Here it give me lots of things, but I will only select the products dot product ID, products dot product name, and from the users table I will only select the user's full name, users dot full name, right? And here we can see that this product one is related to Null, and this product is related to Null. But let's suppose we have not the matching record in the users table, then either we will get the products from the total table or not. If I and in the left join, it will not restrict us. It will always get the data from the left table, I mean from the table, but it will also get the data from the right table. Here in this case, products is our left table and user is our right table. So it will also get the data from the right table if there is any match on this condition on the user ID. If match found, then it will get also the data from the users. If there is no match, it will not return. It will return this column as null. Currently we have the data, that is why it is not null. Same like right join works opposite to left join. It will get all the data from the right table, but will get only the matching table, the matching records from the left table. Let's me just replace this operator with the right. Now execute this query. Okay, it give me all the records from the right table. Here in this case, user is the right table. In the users table, basically we have this record, the Noor and Elena, and again here a Noor. But from the left table, it only give me the matching record, and for the records that have no match, it did not return any value, right? If I add here also the users dot user ID, then it will be more clear. Okay, so for the Noor, there are basically two products in the product table. For Elena, for the user ID 2, there are again two products. But for Noor with user ID 3, there is no products in the left table, in the product table I mean. And for Elena with the user ID 4, there is no record in the left table. Let me clear this thing in more detail to change the name a little in the users table. It will be Anina, it will be Basit, and let's see, it should be Rahul. Yes, no, it will be clear. Okay, you can see that for Noor there are 2 products, and for Elena there are 2 products. For Basit there is no product. For Rahul there is no product in the product table. So it returns all the data from the users table, but only the matching record in the products table it returns. These records are matched between both the tables. That is why we get. But for the IDs 3 and 4, there is no matching record in the products table. That is why we get no data in the product side table. Okay. Now what does inner join did? Inner join only return the records that exist in both the tables. Here we have joined the products table with the users. So if I just replace the inner join, the right join with the inner join, then it will only return the matching records. So just execute this query. Okay, it removes the remaining the null value rows because there was no match. So it's only return the user ID 1 and user ID 2 records and neglect the other ones. If I write a little query against opposite to this, select historics from users. Here we have 4 users. If I make join with products P, I am making just shortcut. I mean alias for the user, and for the product I am just making an alias. Okay, for our simplicity, right? I will make join on u dot user ID and p dot user ID. Okay. Now it will only from the user table. Let's me only select user ID u dot user u dot full name, and from the product table I will get only the product from the product name. Let's me execute this statement. Okay, now here from the users table I only get the user's ID with 1 and 2, and the user ID with the user with ID 3 and with ID 4. We have no data here. Basically, Noor have 2 products and Elena have also 2 products, and for the user ID 3 and 4, there is no matching record in the products table. That is why we have no data here. So inner join basically see the condition, this condition in both tables. So if record exists in both the tables according to this condition, then it will only get the data, right? I will remove this one at this time, yes, because there is no need. And now I will tell you about the outer apply operator in SQL, right? We can either use left join or inner join, outer apply. Basically these tools are used like in a same way, but there is a little difference. Okay, here you can see that we have user ID and then Noor and product 1, and here again user ID 1, full name Noor, and product 2. If I want just to record the top product for the Noor and only the top 1 product for the soup, then I have no option to get these using the left join. I will move towards the outer reply operator. So comment this, I will use outer reply and then parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis I will write the code for the outer reply. Select product name from products. Here we are making the condition on the user ID. Okay, user ID, I will only get here the select top one, and to this whole outer reply I will give a name like an alias as P or D products. Okay, copy, replace. Okay, so let's execute this statement. Now here it only it give me all the records from the users table, and for user ID 1 here we get only the top product, for user ID 2 we get only the top product, and for these two, for the 3 and for the 4, I mean for the boss Rahul, there is no product name. So basically outer reply do the same thing like left join. We get all the data from the left table. Here we have users as a left table, and then here we can specify a condition. If I just remove this one, the top one, and execute the statement, then it will again do the same work like the left join. Here the username is duplicated, but if I just want to get only the top product for the Noor and top product for Alina, then I will use here like in this way. So according to the scenarios and requirement, we either use the out reply or inner join, right? These are done, and now we have to move to SQL Union. Basically, SQL Unions are used to join two statements, and in all the two or more statements, but in all the statements the column length should be same. So let's suppose you have 5 columns in the first query, then in the second query there should also be 5 columns, otherwise it will throw an error. Let's suppose I want to join two queries like select Noor as first name, Union select Udin as last name. Let me execute. Here I should also make these two things same. So from the first statement I am getting Noor as first name, and for the second statement I am getting Udin as first name, and then I am joining these two statements, I mean this one and this statement I am joining using the union operator. But let's me add here another column in the as, let's suppose it should be as user name. Now here you can see that in the first select there are 2 columns, this one and this one, but in the second we have only this column. Now if I execute this statement, it will throw an error. All queries combined using the union, intersect or except operator must have an equal number of expressions in their target list. This means that the total columns inside this query must equal to the total columns in the other select statements. Okay, so remove these, select. Okay, we have get the required data. Okay guys, so now I will move towards the worksheet, right? And here we have some remaining topics. Okay, now I will cover first these 4 topics. These are short topics, and then I will move towards the store procedure concept, which is very important in SQL. So let me copy first these 4 topics. I will paste here again in the development window and comment this. Sorry guys, okay. Now what does SQL top operator do? SQL top operator basically give us the top column from any table. If I just show you the data from the countries table that we created, select historic from countries. Okay, sorry guys, I forget the from keyword. Okay, now it gives us all the columns and all the rows. Now if I just want to get only the top one, I mean these row from the countries table, then I will use the top one, I mean the top operator. Execute. I am only getting the record with country ID 1 because I am getting only one record. But if I want, let me remove this data. But if I want to get only one record, but the latest one, then I can order the data by country ID. Order by country ID descending. Okay. Select, execute. Now here it will first this statement. If I just remove this one, this statement will get all the data from the countries table, and it will order the data, I mean sort the data by country ID in a descending way. If I execute, okay. Now here we have the data like in this way. Now if I just apply the top one operator, then it will get us the first row. Top one, yes. Okay, we get the top one row. Here we have the SQL insert record from one table to another. Okay. Now I have a product table. Let's suppose I want to insert a record in the product table from another table. Then how will I do so? Let me first create a same table, another table having same structure like the product table. So for this, let me copy the script of the product table. Yes, it is the script, and now I will rename only the table name like products new. Yes, also replace here products new. Okay, and here is ready. Replace this one and replace this one. Okay, let me execute. There is already an object FQ. Okay, sorry guys, there is also an object with this name and with this name. No, I will remove this data. Let me execute. There is another object name product new. If I refresh, I think the table is created successfully in the first query, but having some issue to make this the user ID as a foreign key from the user's table. Okay, so basically our main purpose is to insert data in SQL table from another table. Okay, we have two tables, the products and product new. You know that in the products table we have some rows. Select historic from products. We have these 4 rows. Now I want to insert these 4 rows from the products table to the products new. For this, in SQL we have to write like in this way: insert into, I am inserting in the products new table data, and no, I will get the values from the select historic from products. Yes, just refresh the local cache, IntelliSense, local refresh. Okay, now I am inserting a data inside the products new table, and I will get the data from the products table. And let's me copy these 2 columns. Okay, so the things are clear. I will insert the data inside the products new table. These 2 columns are belong to the products new, and I will get data from the products table. So these 4 rows will be inserted inside this table by using this complete statement. Can I execute? Okay, so let's me execute. 4 rows affected. These mean that 4 rows are inserted inside the products new table. Let's me check whether the record is inserted successfully or not. Select historic from products. Execute. Here we have 4 rows inserted inside the products new table. So remove these. Okay. Now we are SQL delete top 1 and update top 1 operator. For the delete top 1, we have to delete only the top row from any table. Let's suppose from the product new table, I only want to delete this row, the top one. Then I will use like in this way: delete, Control Z, delete top 1, products new. Yes. If I remove the top 1 operator and then execute this statement, all the rows will be deleted. But if I add the top 1, then only this row will be deleted from the list. Let's me execute. Okay, and then check the data. You can see that the row with the product ID 1 is deleted, and now we have 3 rows in the products table. So this statement deleted only the top 1. Same like the delete top 1, we have also the update top 1. We can either specify here multiple columns like in this way, but for the time being I will only provide here the value of 1 to update only the 1 row. So update top 1 products view, set product name is equal to new best mobile, and this statement will only update the first top row inside the products new table. Select OK. If I just replace these with 2, that it will also update this row. I mean, then no, we will update 2 rows. Here we have the product name same, because we updated 2 rows inside the products table. These again, we have a topic like SQL data types. So guys, in SQL there are many data types, but we should be familiar with some most common. SQL has integer, decimal data type like date time. For the simplicity, I will show here from this product new table. Go to the design. Just click on this one. Here you can see lots of data type in SQL. So the begin, boundary, bit, it's one used for 1 or 0, I mean for true or false, date time. So these all are the data types in SQL. You have to study these data type in your own time, right? Okay, so just close this window. Now we have also covered the SQL data type. Go to the list. We have covered this, right? Now we have with these remaining topics, right? Now let me copy all the things related to the SQL store procedure. Okay, copy here and comment. So basically we will cover the SQL store procedure. It is like routines, or you can say like functions in our programming language that can take some parameters or may have no parameter, and then it calculate, it execute different kind of statement inside the body, and then it may or may not return a value. SQL store procedure has a name, like we have a function name. So basically we can write logic inside the SQL store procedures, and these are much too similar like a function inside a programming language. In my another database, in this database I have some store procedures. So for the store procedure you have to open this folder, the programmately, and here we have a folder store procedures, and you can see here that I have some procedures. If I just go to the very simple store procedure, not very complicated, like delete any record. No, I think it is a complicated procedure. So I should go to the get user login store procedure. Okay, let's me open this store procedure. So it is the name of the store procedure, like a function name. You have to type here the procedure keyword, and I am going here to alter the store procedure, but there is no need. And these are the parameters to the store procedure, basically two parameters, the email address and password. And here we have the procedure body. Inside the procedure body we have a very simple SQL select statement. So as you can see, we have the procedure name, these are the parameters, and inside the begin and end we have the SQL select statement. It is the structure of a SQL store procedure. So let's we create one our own store procedure inside the SQL course DB, right? According to this statement. So type create procedure, and then you have to type dbo dot store procedure name, like sp get all products, yes, and then you have to give here the parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis let's suppose I am passing a parameter product ID, and its type should be integer to the store procedure. Okay, I am passing only one parameter. and then I will type here as keyword, and then begin keyword, and then end keyword. And here I will write the store procedure body. Inside the body, I only want to get all the data from the products table, right? So it is a very simple store procedure. The procedure name should be sp get all products. It is the parameter. If I want to use this parameter inside the procedure body, then I can use. Let me make it as null by default. Null, okay. These mean that if I did not specify, I did not provide the product ID to the parameter of the store procedure, then there will be no issue. It will be considered as null. So let me create this store procedure. Okay, procedure created successfully. Let's check inside the programmability store procedure. Yes, we have this store procedure created successfully. Now, how can I execute this store procedure? I have created, but how can I execute? Copy this statement. For the execution of store procedure, you have to type execute, right? And then type the procedure name. The procedure name is dbo.sp_get_all_products. Basically, we are using, guys, the dbo for the schema. Here you can see that it is dbo dot, right? And then I will, if I ask you, is this procedure getting any parameter? Your answer is yes, because it is taking product ID as a parameter, but it is nullable. Okay, now let's me pass here no product ID. The procedure will run execute. So it is the way to execute a store procedure. This store procedure give me all the products from our products table, because its body is very simple. Now let's suppose I want to pass an ID 1. Okay, this one is considered as a parameter to the store procedure, and it will be the product ID, because we have only one parameter. If there are multi-parameter, let's suppose I pass here another parameter to the store procedure product name, and it should be watch maximum, let's suppose 150. And okay, guys, so another thing, I have created the store procedure. Now at some later stages, if I want to change anything inside this procedure, then I will just alter this store procedure, right? Execute. Okay, now the store procedure will not take product name is also a parameter, because we have updated. Okay, now come here. I can also pause the product name here in the second statement, in the second parameter. Okay, if I want to get all the products where product is ID is equal to this parameter, yes, just alter this store procedure. Now let's me execute this store procedure. I only get product with product ID 1. If I pause the parameter 2, it will go, this store procedure will execute, the product ID will be replaced by 2, and here we have the condition. So execute, we only get the data with product ID is equal to 2. So execute. So how to pass parameter? We pass a parameter insert record using store procedure. It's very simple. I get a select record. You can just write a very simple insert statement to get to insert the record inside the products, like in this way. sorry guys, insert into countries. Yes, like in this way. These are the column and these will be the values, so no issue. SQL Server try catch block. Can we use try catch block in the SQL Server store procedure? Yes, sure. You have to type here begin try and end try, and here you have to type begin catch and catch. Yes, inside the begin try you have to write the SQL store procedure body. Let's suppose I type the body as like historic from routers, and if there is any error occurred inside this body from this line to this line, if there occurred any error, then we can capture the error here inside the begin catch and catch. Let's me print the error message. Yes. Okay. So first alter me the store procedure. Okay, it is altered successfully. Now here I want to raise an error. You know that we can't convert. How can I raise an error? Okay, here we make let's me add some value like declare let's me declare a variable inside SQL. We can like declare the variable like in this way. It should be integer. Declare another variable. Oh god, it should be the another variable. I just want to make a condition due to which an error occurred, and I just want to print this statement then, because if an error occurred inside this block in the begin try and end catch block, then this block will be executed, the begin catch and end catch, and here we have to print the error message, right? This error message is the pre-built function in SQL for showing us the error. Let me also declare one another variable. Declare it should be sum, and this time it will be integer. If I just make this one as and 100, so set sum is equal to these two variable. One plus 2. Okay guys, now you can see that we have declared a variable 1, its type is integer and its value is 4. Another variable 2, its type is an varchar and its value is null, and we will get the result inside the sum. As you can see that we can't add the integer value to the string value, then it may throw an error. Let me change the procedure again. Okay, now I will run the procedure. It did not throw the error, but 1 2 Yes, again, let me select. Okay, guys, select and no. Oh, no, I will execute again. Conversion failed when converting the anniversary value node to date type integer. You can see here that the error message is printing conversion failed when converting the value anniversary to node. You can see here that we are adding the n-varchar value to the integer value in this statement. That is why it's throwing an error. So basically this print error message printing this kind of data. Okay. How to use if statement in store procedure. It's not an issue, it's very simple. If you can say that if product id is equal to 1, then select historic from products. If product id is not equal to 1, then else begin and end. Then select historic from countries. Yes, we can type like in this way. So let's me execute. First let me execute, and now I will pass here. We have get the countries because product id is not equal to 1, but if I supply here 1, I will get all the products you can see here. So we can also write the if condition or any other condition inside the store procedure. This was all about the store procedure, guys. Now let's me highlight these points also. Okay, now I am moving towards the final topics. Okay, now at this time I will copy all these statement and will print inside my window. Remove all these, just close this one, paste here. So I have to comment first, and now I will cover all these topics one by one. What is SQL Sub Query? It is basically a query inside a query. Let me show you. Select historic from countries. No, I will only get the c.country ID, c.country name. Okay. Now let's suppose I want to write here a query inside this select statement. It will be then a subquery. Let me write a query like select historic from like in this way. Select top 1 from. I think this scenario will be best match in case of the products. If I just go to the select historic from products, execute the statement. Yes, just get the p.product id, p.product name. Okay. Now I want here to write a subquery in this place, and this query will be with the users table. So I am writing here a subquery select top 1 historic from users where u.user id is equal to p.user id. Understand, guys? Yes. And I will get the full name from the users table. And to all these select subquery, I will give an alias as full name because I am getting the full name only. Guys, execute the story. You can see that I get full name, I mean these, from the users table. So if I show you, these are the main query, and here we have added a subquery just to get a column full name upon a certain condition. So it is basically a subquery. You can write any kind of subquery inside your SQL main statement, right? Now you have declare and set variable values in SQL. As I already told you that we can declare and set the values of variables. We can declare variables, we can set the values of a variable, we can change the values of a variable. So for declaring any variable, just type declare, it is the keyword, then @ sign, and here you have to type the name of the variable. Let's suppose the name of the variable is first name, and then you have to specify the data type. It should be n-varchar, and its maximum length should be 150 character. It is the way of declaring a variable. Declare keyword, @ the variable name and its data type. Now let's suppose I want to assign a value to this variable. There are many ways. I can either directly assign here a value like node. Yes, I can either set the value of the variable in the next line. Set what to set? The variable. So the variable name and its value should be like Nimra. Yes. Execute. Nothing happen because I am not getting the variable value. Just select the variable. Okay. Now this statement will declare a variable. It will set its value, and we are getting here. Execute. We have the value Nimra. If I change its value from, let's suppose in the next line I am changing the value again from Nimra to Ahmad. Okay. So this line is for declaring a variable of n-varchar type. Here we set the value Nimra. Again we set the value Ahmad. Now it will become the latest value will be the Ahmad, and I am just getting the variable value. It's Ahmad. Okay. So we can set and declare variable in SQL statement like in this way. Our next topic is how we can design a query inside an editor. Remove this. We can also write a query. It should not be very complex, but we can write, simple kind of queries inside the SQL designer. So to access the SQL designer, just right click anywhere inside the editor, anywhere, okay, and then go to the designer query and editor. Here all the tables will become from the database. I will pick this table and this table. Add, close. Now here it automatically show me the relationship between these two tables. The relationship is on the user ID. Okay, the user ID in product is the foreign key, and it is primary key in the users table. Now I want to get product ID, product name from the products table and full name from the users table. You can see here the query is automatically generated. Just click on OK. So the area where I have right click, the query is created, execute. Okay, so we can simply design the simple query inside the design query and editor in SQL. If I just want to get country ID, country name, I will OK. Here the query is created, right? Remove this option because we have got create table script in SQL with database. I have already covered this. I created a table using a script, using the SQL script, so that is why I will not cover again. Okay. Create procedure script. I have created a procedure a few minutes ago, so there is no need. Take full backup of database. Yes, it's important. Now let's suppose you have a need to take a backup of this database. You want to store or keep the file on some other computer, or you want to send to some other body. Then how will you take the backup? Just right click and then go to the task, and then you have to click on the backup. Okay. In the backup, the default folder is always selected. It is the folder where your SQL Server installation is done. MS SQL backup SQL course break. Okay, so it is the complete path. I will not change because it's creating some time problem. It is in the C folder. Okay, click OK. The backup database completed successfully. Okay, so let's me go to the C drive of my computer. Program files, SQL Server, this one, here I have the backup, and you can see here that I get the backup file. Okay, now I can send and share this file to anyone without no hesitation. So it is the way to take a full backup of the database. Now you can restore the database also. How to restore a database? Yes, let's suppose I remove this database. It will not allow me to delete directly. For this, I have to shut down all the things and then reopen the SQL Server Management Studio, and in this way it will allow me to create to delete the database. That is why it throwing an error. So just cancel. If I go to the folder that I just visited, it was these C program files, and here SQL Server, this one MS SQL backup. Here I have a database block. Now I will restore this database inside my SQL Server. Okay guys, so just copy the path, right click, restore database. Okay, I will show you again. Right click on the database, restore database. Okay, click on the device and click on this button. Okay, now click on add. I will specify here the file location. Control V, press enter. Okay, now here I have two databases. This database is just stored by me, and I will take restore this base block database inside my SQL Server Management Studio. So select this one, click OK, click OK, and then you can see here, and just click final OK. Okay, you can see here that the base block database is restored successfully inside the SQL Server. So this topic is covered, guys. SQL Cast Operator, the final thing. This operator is used to cast one data type to another data type, right? Let's suppose I want to cast a string into an integer. For this, let me declare a variable, declare id nvarchar. No, it is nvarchar is the string, okay, 100, and let's suppose its value is 100. Now guys, I will tell you that this 100 is basically, we know that it is an integer, but we store these inside a string variable in nvarchar. So basically this is no a string. If I want to cast this as an integer, I will write do like in this way: select cast. No, I will copy the variable name. I will type here as integer, yes, and I will add a value to this one. No, let's suppose add me 50. It's 150. If I just change 100 to this one, I am appending n with this one, okay, r m, okay. No, this there will this, if I execute this statement, it will throw an error, because no, it will not cause the id as integer successfully, because there is string character, the m inside the id. Execute, sorry guys, execute. Here you throw an error. So we can cause any value from string to integer if it has the integer value basically inside the string. If I just remove this one and execute it, it is 100, and lets me add again m. It will not throw an error, but it will give me the null value. Okay, sorry guys, it throw again the error, right? It's the best thing, because we can't convert 100 and m to the integer. Let's make me this value as date time, and I will assign here a value like using the getDate function. So the getDate function will assign, let's me also make the variable name current date, yes, and then I will cast the current date as only date, no date time. Execute only date. If I cast as a date time, it's this way. If I cast a date time 2, it's some other thing, the date format, okay. So we can cast one variable time to another using the cast function in SQL Server. It's all over guys. Let's we move to the next topics, to the SQL Json. Okay, I will cover these first. Let me highlight it also these and go to the SQL Server. So if you are familiar with the JSON data type, if you just search here JSON sample, okay, so here you can see a very popular JSON data type. Name is equal to John, and age is equal to 30, and car is equal to null. So it is the JSON. Let's suppose I want to return a JSON from the SQL Server to the application where we are using, then how will I do so? If I just return the record from the select story from users table, here we have the data inside like a table. But if I want to return all these rows like a JSON, then how will I do so? For these, I will write a statement for JSON path for JSON auto. Okay, execute this statement. Here it makes a JSON. Now let me copy this JSON and go to browser, type here JSON beautify. Yes. No, copy, paste here. Okay. Beautify. Okay. Now here we have make JSON data for SQL select statement. It is our first student it is our first user, the second user, the third user, Control Z, and the final user. If I run both statement in a single way, it is simple and it is with JSON. So we have 4 students, 4 users, and here we have make a JSON, and a JSON contains the user's data in a JSON format. In some scenarios, but I will say in many scenarios, we have need of the JSON data to manipulate in SQL Server. Let me copy this data. Copy. If you have already a JSON data in SQL, let me declare a variable JSON and virtual maximum. Okay, and set its value to this statement. Copy this one, copy, and now paste here. Now let's suppose I am someone passing these data as JSON from the application, from your web application, from your desktop application, or even from the API from your mobile application. If someone passing these data to the SQL Server in the JSON format, then how I will beautify these data, how I will insert these data. For this, let me show you the example. I will zoom out a little. Yes, now it's visible. Okay, so if you just write the select statement from this variable, execute, must declare the variable JSON. Will not work, right? Okay, if I just define type here the open JSON function of the SQL, it is the pre-built function. If I just pass here the variable JSON, here you can see that we declare a variable and then we set the value of this variable to a simple JSON. Execute, you can see that it just break the JSON into the 4 parts. Like in this way, it's break the JSON into this part, in this part, in this, and in the final part. So it makes basically 4 rows. But again, this data is not very clarifiable. If I want to further clarify this data, how will I do so? For this, you have to type here no with class, with, and then parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you can get you can further beautify this data. So the first column is user ID. User ID, it will be integer, and then you have to type inside the single comma the $, dot, and then the variable name. Yes, For the second one, you have to type the full name, this one, and for full name will be varchar maximum. At this time I will keep it maximum, but there is no need to keep it maximum. And for the second and third parameter, I mean there is only one parameter left, the date of birth, right? Yes. So let's me execute these all statement. Here you can see that we have beautified all the data in a beautiful way. If I execute again the statement, you can see that each and everything is now in a beautiful format. So this was the way to handle JSON data in SQL. There are lots of other modifications, lots of other things associated with the JSON, but at this time I think it's enough. If you know about this kind of thing, then if you face a little more complicated issue, I sure you will handle. But at least you should have knowledge how we can handle JSON data, right? Okay, so we have covered these two topics also. Yes, this one, the JSON topic, open JSON, return JSON. Okay, so each and everything's fun. We have some SQL user view, create view, temporary table, while statement, update data in one table from another. This statement is already covered. Okay, it's like same that we insert data from one table to another, so we can update like in the same way. SQL with statement, create index for a column, is null function. Yes, so first I will copy these statements, paste here, control A, remove all the other old things, comment. So how we can create a view inside SQL statement? Yes, SQL view is basically like a virtual table. By virtual table we mean that we just write the SQL difference rec statement, and then we put these select statement inside a view body. So further, if we require this kind of manipulation of data, we will have no need to write the code again and again. We will just call the view. The second purpose is that if we have some kind of tables that we don't want to show the implementation of the table name or its column name to the developer or to the other users, then we will just write a view. Inside the view we will write the complete select queries, and then we will just give the view to the user. And so this way the users will not be able, what is the internal implementation of the view, but he will just get the data according to his requirement. So we can create like create view like in this way. Here we will keep the view name. View name should be sample view, sample view. Okay, and now we have to write here the body like select historic from users, sorry, countries. Execute. The view is created successfully. Just go to the SQL course DB. Here we have a folder for the views, expand, and here these views exist. Now let's suppose I want to use this view inside my SQL statement, just remove these, refresh the local cache first. Okay, no, I will just write like in this way, historic from this way. You know, it again give me only the country state. No, I don't know what kind of statements inside the view, but I have access to the view, and I can get the data. So remove this one. Yes, SQL temporary table. Yes, we can create SQL table inside the memory, not permanently inside the database. So this table will not appear here inside this folder. Its life cycle will only be up to the temporarily, right? So create table. Yes, and for creating a temporary table, you have to write its name with a hash symbol. Hash. No, let's suppose I create a table categories. Yes, and there should be some columns also. Category ID integer, and category name, it should be varchar 100. No, this statement will only create a temporary table. You have to write here hash. If I execute this statement, there will be no data created inside the table folder. I mean, no table will be created, but this table will be only exist until I did not close this window. Okay, so let's me create. No, I will select historic from inside this table. You know that this table is created, it does not exist inside this, but it is still exists. If I just recreate the table, it will throw an error because the table is already exists, but it is only in the memory, not permanently exists inside the SQL course DB. I will select again. Okay, so we sometime create temporary table inside the query or inside the store procedure, and then we drop the table at the end of query. It is the best practice. So I will drop the table, this table. Yes, if I drop this table, let me first recreate the table. It will throw an error because this table already exists. But if I execute this statement, the table drops successfully. If I recreate the it's created successfully. Okay, so it is best practice to use this statement at the end of your query. If you create a temporary table, then at the end just drop the table. Otherwise, it will eat your memory in free. Okay. Now we have covered this statement, and here we have the while statement. It is just like while loop inside any programming language. Okay, while, just press tab, guys. I am using an anti-license, I mean an extension inside my SQL Studio. That is why my statements created successfully. If you are using your own, then you will not such controls. That is why you have to write these kind of things. I am using an extension which is a paired extension. That is why it will not available on your site. But I will suggest you not to use the tools from your first day, and just write each and everything on your own site. In this way, you will things will become better. Okay, so it is the while statement. As you know that in any programming language, in the while there is a condition. So if 1 is equal to 1, print here print hi. Okay, if I execute this statement, it will never end because 1 is always equal to 1. So how I can control? I will declare a variable, declare count integer, and it should be 1 initially. If count is less than 10, I will print 10 times. Until the count is less than 10, this statement will execute, and execute. So I will increment 1 by 1. Count is equal to count plus 1. Yes. Set count is equal to count plus 1. So execute this statement. Yes, it's printed 100 times. Let me change the condition. Okay guys, so it printed 100 times. Okay. SQL with statement. Basically, we are using with statement in SQL to write different blocks of queries in a same query, and then we can use it according to the requirements. For the with statement, there is the syntax with, and we have to write its name like CTE. Man, basically I am talking about the CTE with. Okay, and I just keep any name. Okay, so I will keep the name like products, and here as statement, and then parentheses. Okay, and inside these I have just to write a simple statement, select historic from products. Yes, and now if I want to add another city, I mean city with the city products, then I will just put here comma, I will press enter, and then I will write the city for countries. Okay, I will put as, and then inside the parentheses I will type select historic from countries. Okay, so it is like one block, and it is like second block. And that finally I want to get only data from the first city. Execute. We can see here the plots. If I want to get the data from the second city, execute, I get all the countries. So I can add here multiple cities, comma separated, and then let's suppose I have some conditions to join these two cities in the final query. I can do. There are lots of scenarios where we have to use the cities in SQL. It is basically to write different blocks of code, comma separated, and then finally we can handle according to our requirements, right? This statement is SQL create index for a column. Yes. So if you want to create an index on a column, you can do like in this way. If in the users table, let's suppose I want to create an index on the full name. If you are not familiar with the index, basically we are using indexing for getting the data fastly in the from a table. So let's suppose you have lots of data in the table, and if there are some conditions on a column, and you want to get the data in a fast way, then you may either create an index on a table column. Okay, so we are at the users table, And here I want to create an index on the full name. Right click, how can I do so? Close, indexing. Yes, sorry guys. So go to the index, go to the users table, and then indexes. Right click, new index, non-cluster index, because we can only create one cluster index per table. That is why we will create non-cluster index. That is the name, and here we have to add a column. The column will be the full name, okay, the full name, and then here we have the index name, full name, yes, and click OK. And here you can see that we have created this index successfully. Index full name on the column full name. Okay. So we have covered these topics also. Finally, guys, we have remained with these 2 to 3 topics. I think it is an empty. Okay. So we have to cover also these 3 topics, right? Okay. So paste here in the Management Studio comment. Okay. Now, what is SQL is null operator purpose? It's just to check whether a variable or a column is null or not. Let's suppose I declare a variable full name and virtual maximum. Okay. Now select full name. Okay. Execute. It's null. Now how can I check if the full name is null or not? I will use the is null function. Is null, yes, and inside the is null I will provide here the value. I can either provide here the column name or any variable. Now the second thing should be the default value. Let's suppose if full name is null, then I will print some default value. Not exist. Let's suppose I will print this one. Execute. Because the full name value is null, that is why its prints not exist. But no, let's me set some value of the full name. Let me set its value to Robert. Yes, and no not exist will not print here because full name is not null. Okay. How we can use these on the table select statement? Let's suppose select story from the countries table, because in the countries table we have some null data. Execute. Okay. Now here you can see that we have country code null for some countries. Now I will write here like is null. What null? If country code is null, then I will make the column value as no code exists for this country. Okay. Execute. You can see here that all the countries that have no country code value, I will print the default value. Okay. Here you can see again no code exists for this country. So it is the functionality of the is null operator. Here in SQL we have the IIF or if operator also. We are using this operator to, it's like if statement. So let me show you the example. Select historic from countries. No. If again, if country code is null, I will like to use like in this way. If country code is null, then the second parameter I will use empty, else I will use country code. Yeah, okay. So basically, if takes three params: the first param, the second param, and the third param. The first param, here you can use multiple condition, like if I can also use R country code is equal to empty string. So I have specified here no two conditions. If any condition meets, then this value will be printed, otherwise the country code will be printed. Let's execute. Okay, I print empty for all the columns if there is any condition met. Okay, so let's remove this one, execute the query, it will get the same result. No country code. Yes, this means that if country ID is null, then print this, and if country ID is not null, then print this. Execute. Right. So guys, we have covered lots of topic in this session. There are also many things in SQL Server. You will pick them step by step with the time pass. But I try my best in this video to show you only the practical things that we require in our development world, not the theory. So goodbye. We have covered all the topics. Thank you so much for giving time to see this video. Thank you. Thank you.